everyone, welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and we're here to talk about Dr. Stone Episode 41, Science Vessel Perseus.
The summary of the episode. Kazuki's efforts to build the science vessel Perseus hit a roadblock when he realized that it's impossible to get all the parts to fit in practice.
This covers manga chapters 98, Ryusui, 99, Kingdom of Science Photojournal, and 100, Origin of the Hundred Tales. That's a milestone. That's a big milestone, chapter 100.
True. Awesome. How many chapters are there total? Do you know? Oh, it's like two. Is it two something? No.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I feel like I see it every time I go
There's
on
like
that's
there's like
on
20
that
something volumes.
I'm looking it up. It's like every time I go on that sketchy website,
Oh.
first of all, I always get scarred. But that tells me how many there are.
Any of the listeners wanna
I'm
give us?
Googling it.
Okay, cool.
We don't need our listeners' help.
We appreciate the three of you. We really do.
232.
Okay.
And there's 26 volumes.
Plus a bonus one.
Yeah, that's the
So what about
the
Byakuya?
yeah.
I mean like I don't think they're gonna adapt it with the anime, but my hopes are like set on maybe like a bonus movie or TV special because that would be fun, but I'm not counting on it. So I might just read
Yeah.
I might just read that
Depends.
once this is all over.
Yeah, depends on how popular Dr. Stone is in the end. Because right
Yeah.
now it's
Well, I
it's
mean
like popular, but
in
like
Japan it's probably more popular than in the US.
that's true. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, if they don't animate it, I'll probably read it
Yeah.
too. Even though I haven't read anything else. Herbiakia, I'll read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, let's get into the episode. So now that they've found their oil and started gathering all their resources, the focus is back on building the ship. And Kasaki is running into trouble. I'm gonna be real, I wasn't paying attention. When at the beginning of the episode, I just saw stuff breaking and I didn't
Yeah,
listen to what the problem was.
the pieces weren't fitting together. I think it's with how wood bends and changes, you know?
Okay, yeah, that's was like maybe the vibe I was getting, but again, I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, yeah, Kazuki is having trouble, and Senku's like, "All right, let's give up, make a smaller ship. We'll just and take a few people." And Ryusui's like, "Nope, we're not gonna do that. Everybody has to come on the boat." Um, and this is when we get a little backstory, and basically like him not giving up on anything.
Yes,
Uh,
so we obviously know that he's a rich kid, and as prejudiced as this makes me seem, when I first learned that, I was inclined maybe not to like him so much because I thought that he'd be your stereotypical hasn't had to work a day in his life, but he is definitely not that. Like he sees something he wants and he goes for it, whether or not he's got his family's support or not. And Francois even makes the comment that Risui is not like let me see the exact phrasing in the manga. Risui is not debaucherous, that's what they say in the manga. But basically, like, he doesn't have bad intentions when he does things, and he'll throw himself wholeheartedly for the sake of the goal he has and for his friends too. And one of those things is like, I don't know, this goofy little side quest he goes on where he and his friends aren't allowed to try VR because they're too young when he was a kid. And so he just, I don't know, like buys a racetrack for them to race cars at, which you're definitely too young for. I don't know. He makes it happen somehow. But it's really cute because in the manga, Ryusui is going to the racing track at the same time that Senku, Taiju, and Yuzuriha are going to launch their rocket.
nice. Both working on their own
Mhm.
dreams, I guess.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and then we see Ryusui. Well, I think we already knew this, but he's really into building like model ships, and he's like very good at it. He puts a lot of effort into it. And so he will build a model of the ship that they're gonna build. And then they make from Ryusui's model, they make full-sized blueprints using like this super awesome tool, which honestly, like I kind of want one. It's called a pantograph. And it's basically like you draw something and then it'll like size up your drawing however much you the pantograph is. So like they uh Suica has a tiny one that's like 2 times the size, but then they have a 48th times one and
That's
it's like
insane.
huge. It like goes like it's like the size of a field. It's crazy.
And it takes a lot
Um
of muscle to move it because I mean
mhm
it's huge. But Ukyo said something like, "Hey, maybe this is how the Nazca lines are drawn." And I didn't know what that was, so I Wikipedia'd it. Nazca lines are a group of over 700 geoglyphs made in the soil of the Nazca Desert in southern Peru. They were created between 500 BC and 500 AD by people making depressions or shallow incisions in the desert floor, removing pebbles and leaving different colored dirt exposed. So it's I mean like it's not crop circles, but it looks cool.
mhm
You can see aerial photos and they're pictures and they're really
mhm
pretty. And it's kind of like how on earth did people draw these in the dirt at such a scale? And so um that's Ukyo's theory, or I mean the mangaka speaking through Ukyo, I suppose.
mhm. Yeah, and then they kind of have like, I guess, like a passage of time while they're building the ship, and they choose to fill that by them making memories. They well, first they're all snowboarding and skiing, which I'm very impressed because like we see Ryusui and Senku, um,
Gen's there,
yeah,
Kohaku.
again, like they're all I think they're mostly snowboarding.
Yeah.
Um, I cannot snowboard. I've done it a few times, but not the best at it.
I can go down the bunny hill.
Right? Like I can do that. Um,
The
I
most
can't
embarrassing
ski.
thing was when I fell on the lift.
I've done like cross country skiing.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Hmm.
I've never tried downhill though.
No, seems scary, and I know lots of people who have gotten hurt doing that. But
Okay, fun little side story. I think he was on skis. I'm pretty sure he was. But when I was working at summer camp, they also do winter camps there. And one of the guys who works pretty much year round was telling a story, and he had a video to go with it about he and his buddy were on the ski hill, and he had his camera rolling at the perfect time because you just see his friend blaze past in a blur and be like, and kind of like that I can't stop kind of
yep,
thing.
yep.
He's like, I can't stop, and you hear a slam, and the video just pans down. He hit the shed, and his nose was bleeding.
Oh no, that reminds me. Okay, that reminds me of two things actually. Um, one time we have a hill in our backyard.
Mhm.
And we also have a basketball hoop kind
Oh
of at
no!
the in the bottom of the hill.
Oh no!
And I was at the top of the hill and I watched my little brother slide down the hill, legs open,
Oh no!
right in
That's a recipe for disaster.
right in the yeah, direct hit in the basketball hoop.
Oh!
And I just remember like him just like kind of slowly like, falling to the side and just in agony. It was
Oh!
it
Oh!
was it was both funny but also sad. You're like, no.
Buddy.
Uh, yeah. And I don't know if I did I ever tell you that I have been to the camp that you
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
at? Okay,
yeah.
yeah, only went in the winter though.
Hmm.
And they have a They have a hill that you can sled down on
Oh, the
tubes.
tubes. I love the
Yep.
tubes.
And we like formed a giant, so nerdy, that we formed a giant chain. And
Yep.
you know the song that's called The Chain? It's in like I'm not gonna sing it, but um it's in Guardians of the Galaxy. You might have you Oh, wait, you haven't seen that. Well, you have, but only once.
First two. First two. Yeah.
But anyway, we sang that and went down the hill. Like it was, I don't know, it must have been like 20 of us all in one line. And I also think I let out the most high-pitched scream I ever have in my entire
No,
life.
that's it's scary.
Like,
So for context for those listening, the hill at that camp is it doesn't look that steep, but halfway down there's a just a drop. And if you form a huge chain and you're at the back of that chain, the drop happens so fast that it like steals the breath out of your lungs. And so you
hmm
get to the bottom of the hill and you're just gasping and you've got snow in your face and it's just it's fun, but also kind of like, why did I do that?
yeah. Yep. Afterwards, my friend turned to me and was like, I don't think I've ever heard that sound come out of your mouth before. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was fun. Okay. Anyway, we both grew up in
Cold climates.
yeah. So lots of experience with snow. Anyway, snowboarding and skiing is just one thing that they're doing. Um, we get kind of like basically they're like taking photos of all the things that are happening. Um, and it's kind of fun because they're also like captioning them
Mhm.
too. Like we see they're having class and
And there's a girl looking
Ukyo
at Ukyo, and
is
she
the
has a little
teacher.
heart above her head. And
That's cute. I'm like, oh,
I
that's little
swear,
Megan.
I swear, I am doomed and destined to marry a teacher someday. It's gonna happen if I ever get
Uh,
married.
and then they also make chocolate and they have like little
Mhm.
Valentine's chocolates. Uh, they also make swimsuits, which is both exciting but also not. No, they all
Well,
look cute.
I'm
I
glad that
think they all
Chrome
look
finally
cute.
got some swim trunks instead of whatever that thing
Yeah, no,
was he
no,
was
no, that's
wearing.
true. That's true. Um, and then they're also searching for bugs.
That directly goes into swimsuits because they find
Yeah, they're looking for the, yeah,
silkworms or beetles or whatever.
I think it's silkworms.
Yeah.
Or, and then Senku is being Senku. They're like also upgrading all their tech, obviously. Um, and Senku in his caption writes like a paragraph, be like, read this and this and this, and everybody's like,
He
stop.
also looks awesome sitting on top of the furnace. He's got his arms outstretched like a
Yeah,
mad scientist.
yep, it's great. And finally, we also see them building the ship, and they finish it. Um, and they give the date. It's September 10th, 5741.
Making
Um,
history.
yep. It's so cool. Like seeing this, I kind of like seeing that little montage and stuff. You kind of
Yeah.
do like think like, yeah, they are actually like making history, and it's like so cool that it's like this group of young people with a all with a common goal.
Yeah, and it only took him a year,
Yep. Yeah,
which is impressive.
it's very impressive.
But I'm still
And
glad that some
then
time passed because, like, I think
yeah.
some people might critique the show for, like, oh, things come too easy to them. No, they just build on what they already have, but some projects take longer, like this.
Yeah, and they also like their workforce is like way bigger than it used to be. And but I'm also like glad that they don't show us every single thing that
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
Um, so I like that. And then they take a pic with everyone out with the boat, and it's awesome. Um, this next part to me it like happens so fast because they like build their boat and then like Reese we like pulls out this list of crew. He's like, these are the crewmates that I want. Um, and he calls first the scientists and it's Senku and Chrome and Kaseki, I think.
Is there like
Um,
the engineers?
yeah, the engineers, and it like Senku's already on the boat, like working.
And then
Um,
Yuzuriha is included with the engineers too because she helps with the sails.
yep, yep. And then they call the battle crew, and they,
They're already tromping up the steps or
yep,
the
yep.
plank.
We see like one thing that Ryusui says is like, not if I call you and you don't want to come, you don't have to. I only want willing people to come. And so he calls Kinro, and Kinro being Kinro, he's like, I will do this.
The rules are
Um,
the rules.
yep. And then Kinro gets called, and he's a Kinro and is a fraidy cat and is not gonna come. And even okay, the last person that gets called is Gen, and he is, I don't know, he seems hesitant to come, but I don't know, I suspect that he is not actually hesitant. I don't know.
Yeah, the
It
thing
was hard
about
to
Gen
know,
is
but
a lot of times, and we'll see this going forward too. People ask him to do something and he'll kind of go, okay, fine. He'll kind of like do that little whiny thing he
mhm,
does, but he'll give his all to whatever they ask of him, but he'll just make it known that I'm really not okay with this, but fine.
mhm,
Um, and I think his protest was something like, I'm too shrimpy to be on this crew. And I was thinking, look at Senku. He's there.
mhm.
He's like he's smaller than you are. And he's got a different role. You don't have to be the brute force.
Yep. Yep. And the only note that I had about the crew is somehow Mantle is part of the power team. Like,
That man will get crushed by anything he tries to lift.
right? Like how my theory is that it's like a codependency relationship between he and Magma. And it's like Magma won't go if Mantle isn't allowed to come too.
Maybe Mantle's just the hype
He
man,
needs, yeah, that's
you
what I was gonna
know?
say. He needs, because he needs that guy that's like, yeah, you're the best. Like it's like Gaston and
LeFou. And we've said
LeFou.
this before.
Yep.
We've said that comparison
Yep.
before.
It's totally like that is what it
I
is.
feel like I feel like if I were in the kingdom of science, after some time, I would just learn to ignore Mantle because
Hmm.
he's really not doing any harm, honestly. But all the same,
No.
I'd probably walk onto the plank and be, oops, and like kick him into the water.
No one would even notice. First first murder in the new in the stone world.
He swim, I'm sure.
All right. Exactly. He can swim. You just gotta like kick him off at the right time. Like far enough so that he can swim, so that no, close enough where he can swim to shore, but like the ship's already moving fast enough so he like can't catch up. You gotta plan these things out.
Nyla's gonna love this episode.
Anyway, the last two people that are coming are Hyoga and Homura. They're not gonna leave the two dangerous, I wouldn't necessarily say they're criminals, but
Outliers.
yeah, they're not gonna leave them when like the strength of the Kingdom of Science is also on the ship.
Yeah.
Um, so they're bringing them along, and Senku's like, "Who knows? We might need them." And then they're off. Like it's so crazy. Like Risui just like calls everybody on board, and then they're like, "Okay, bye." Like there isn't. I don't know. I kind of expected like he chooses everybody, and then they have a big party, and then they go the next day. But
I
nope, they're
thought
ready to go.
maybe Ruri would give Chrome a little goodbye peck on the cheek or something.
We
Oh
have to
well.
wait a little bit longer, I guess.
We're gonna have to wait years. This ain't going nowhere. But that's
Yeah, true.
okay. I kind of appreciate that all of the romances thus far are on hold. Because if you think about it, they're setting off to revive all of humanity and scour the world. Who knows who you'll meet along the way. So wouldn't it be nice for like Chrome and Ruri, Taiju and Yuzuriha to still get together in the end and be like, out of all the people in the world that we've met and revived, I still choose you.
Yeah. I don't mind it either. There's too many exciting things going on. Who cares about romance right now?
Yeah. And that's
Um,
exactly why we're still single.
hey,
I
don't
can't ruin
announce
my
that to the world.
I can't ruin my 24-year long single streak.
I got you beat.
By 6 months.
Anyway, Kinro is very disappointed that, well, okay, he's disappointed but pretending not to be that Ginro's not joining them. And Ginro is being his slimy self. He is like saying goodbye on land, and then he has a little freak out and he's like, "Wait, I'm gonna join them." And like you see his inner thoughts being like, "Haha, they're too far away for me to actually catch up to them," as he's like swimming out to the boat. But I look like a hero to all the people on land. And Senku, I love him because he knows exactly what's going on, and he lets I don't remember what does he say exactly?
He tells
Um
Ukyo to keep their
oh
radar
yes.
and sonar pointed towards the
Yep.
island.
And
Ukyo's like,
then
"Oh, okay." And
and then
he's
he
like, "Oh,
sees
wait, something's
something,
coming."
and then Taiju, being Taiju, jumps in and rescues Ginro. And then the crew is complete. And they're heading to Treasure Island, which is where the astronauts lived out their days, I
Yes.
guess. And where the
Before they moved to Japan.
yeah.
They'll explain
Yeah, we'll
more.
have to see how that happens, but yeah. And that's where the spaceship is, or the
Yes,
rocket or
where
whatever.
the capsule landed.
Yep. And that's the end of the episode.
Yep. All right. We have volume 12 here. So we got some author artist notes.
Dang.
So Inagaki Sensei says, "The Dr. Stone anime has begun, and it's all thanks to your support. The anime is so fun that I find myself watching it over and over and over." The image above, and there's a picture of a city, shows an ad from the city streets back when the anime was screened in the US. I guess you never know where Senku's gonna pop up at this point. Get excited! And then Boichi says, "I think a lot about the designs of Senku's inventions. Depending on the level of technology available to him, the materials and finishing touches can change quite a bit. If you're curious, Senku's at level 3 in this volume, which would be early industrial revolution. But the most important factor is Senku's heart. What's he thinking? How much consideration does he give the villagers and their lives? I try to imagine his feelings and put them into the designs. For instance, take Sukus's freezer apparatus shown above, and there's like a cool diagram of how it's put together. No matter how long the voyage takes, despite the passing seasons and earthquakes and changes to the waterfall, Sukus's device has to maintain a constant temperature, so that's how I designed it. Even while I'm away, Tsukasa will remain safe. That sentiment of Senku's went into that design."
See, proof that Senku has feelings. We like watched um one YouTube commentator video where
Yeah,
they're
he
like talking
was
about
mean.
how like I mean like he got most things right, but then like at the end he was like Senku, he always makes the rational choice and doesn't think about anybody's feelings, and that's like totally not true. Yes,
Yeah,
he
Senku
tends to
is.
do that, but that's not what we all see through it. Like,
Well, he pretends sometimes, but then other times he's like, whatever. And he shows that he cares,
mm-hmm.
especially in the season we're watching, but we'll get to that later. But it's just because, to quote Kaguya-sama, he is a mother flippin' tsundere.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't even feel like he's like that. Like he
He's
just is
like a
like,
level 1 tsundere.
yeah, he's more like I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like I don't have time to be like I care, but I don't have
Yeah,
time to like be over expressive and like I don't know. Um, but
like
I
he'll
was just
express
gonna say,
gratitude, but he won't harp on it.
yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say like can't believe we're only on volume 12 because like the volume that I accidentally picked up at the library, um, It was like, I'm pretty sure it's the end of the season that we're on now, and it's
Mm.
volume 23. So I'm like,
Yeah, a lot of stuff
whoa, we're
happens.
gonna get far.
We'll we'll have to compare. Obviously, we're comparing the manga and the anime as we go along, but I feel like there are some things where it's just like this can be animated way faster than can be drawn in like
hmm
read in sequential story. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited for them to start their voyage because it's gonna get good.
stuff's gonna go down.
Yep. Yeah, I actually don't think we really have anything extra in this episode. If you're not watching season 4, you definitely should be.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Um, anyway, for context, we just watched episode 9, I think.
That was it was great, but it was a lot.
Yeah, I'm so excited to cover it in the
Yeah.
podcast, but it will be a
All
while.
I'll say is I'm very impressed with the writing for this series and how everything comes together.
Yeah. Okay. What was your favorite line, Megan?
Mine actually came from Kasuki. Oh, you're so good to me. I might fall for you. And he said that to Ukyo, who immediately replied, that wasn't my intention. Actually, a couple of, just to broach this, in the manga, it's a little different. Kazuki's basically just, like the same thing. Oh, you're so good to me. Like, you're being so nice. And Ukyo says, "Well, that wasn't what I was trying to do. Like, I wasn't just trying to be nice to you to pick you up because he was like telling Katsuki it's okay that you can't make the ship to the specifications." He's like, "Well, I was just saying that because it's a really hard thing to do. It's not your fault that it's falling apart. There are certain things we have to keep in mind." So, that's what he meant by that. But I think there is a phrase in Japanese which I will have to double check with Ava because she's the one who told me about it. But it's a phrase that oftentimes gets translated into I fell for you or I'm falling for you, but it in Japanese it's a very specific wording where it's a kind of love that can also be platonic, like I really admire you. So I don't know. It's not a mistranslation, but it definitely has different connotations when you say it in
Yeah.
English.
I don't know. I just took this as a over exaggeration
Yes.
from Kasuki and nothing more. I mean, that would be easy like 60, 70. So that'd be weird. But uh yeah.
And what was your line, Meg?
Mine actually came from Ginro, one of my least favorite characters, I would say. When he gets into the boat, when he gets rescued by Taiju, he's like, and now I'm scientifically screwed, which is something I've thought many times. Um,
Uh,
uh, and then what do we learn?
be patient for the things you want.
And then who pushed story forward?
Ryusui for helping to craft the perfect ship. And
And for picking the perfect crew.
yes, and for picking the perfect name, science vessel
Yeah,
Perseus. So they covered it in the episode,
yeah.
but Perseus was the Greek hero who defeated Medusa, the monster who turns people to stone. So it's very fitting for their ship. But if you're Percy Jackson nerds like we are, you're also like, Percy!
Percy, he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That is all we've got for this episode.
Yep. Follow
Mhm.
us on Instagram and YouTube, and feel free to comment, and we'll read it in the next episode.
Yes. All right. We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye.